Hello everyone and welcome to yet another LCI draft. This won't be my final LCI draft, although I do have a plan to start actually alternating between LCI drafts and the cube drafts until the next set arrives. So it won't be only LCI going forward. But yeah, I think the easy first pick here is the Kellan Daring Traveler. Of course, there's a second option, which is the upgrade. I would take it over stuff like Deadweight or the other commons or the uncommons. But this is a card that can net you actual value or just, even improve your draws. And that's on top of being a 2-mana 2/3, which is a fairly decent stat. Decent stats for a 2-drop, so I'll take that. And you don't have to be green. I mean, the adventure can be nice. You get 1, sometimes 2 maps out of this, but you just don't care about anything else than being able to play this in a white deck on turn 2. Alright, well, there's no white card for me to take. There's like the Altec Archaeologist. I mean mono white, of course. There is a Bartolome, however you say that name, and I think that is the pick. It's a fairly weak pack, actually. You could take something like an Italis Favor or Sunset Militia, but I think my 2 previous drafts were both red and white, so let's not go there unless it's really just gonna be passed to me. I'll take the Bartolome here. Akavali, which I passed actually already because the first pack also had this, is a nice card, of course, but doesn't go that well with the white card, so let's take the Bartolome, which I do think is a very nice 2-drop. So if I end up being white-black, I have a very nice 2-drops here already. But I'm not going to force white-black after just taking the Bartolome. I'm going to focus on picking the best cards in the pack, ideally trying to be white still, because the Kellan is such a nice card. But here, for instance, I'm gonna take the Master's Guide Mural. Out of all these, signpost uncommons, this is maybe the slowest and clunkiest, because it only gives you a 5-mana 4 for a token when you cast it, which is not much for a 5-mana, but of course the true power of this card comes from being able to craft it and then just overwhelming the opponent. Now you have to have a deck that can craft it and can survive until that point, because it's 7 mana to craft, but let's try to get that if blue and white will be open here. I think this is an easy pick because it is the best card in the pack, which is a fairly actually weak pack. Okay, I guess I can continue being at least white and I don't have to, commit to any other color yet. I can still be either black or blue. This pack doesn't really actually have anything that great from non-white colors, so it's an easy pick here, I would say. Now, if I knew I'm gonna be white-black, I think I would take the Glorifier of Suffering, because black can have some nice sacrifice fodder for this thing, but here I will just take the Attentive Sunscribe over the other white options, because it will be playable in both white-black and white-blue. Basically in any white deck you can have this as a fairly decent 2-drop. Let's take that. It is also an artifact creature, so that matters for any white things or any color things that have a craft with artifact, and of course there are plenty of those. Okay, well, there's no black card in here. There's 2 blue cards, but neither of those is very good. There's a Sunfire Torch, minecart, stuff like that. You could take the Torch, but I think I'm just going to take the Aspirant. I think it's quite nice of a 2-drop. 2-mana 2/3, and then sometimes it's more beneficial to give the counter somewhere else. Usually on a creature that can immediately attack and benefit from the extra power and toughness, so yeah, I mean, if I had already some red cards, I would maybe take the Torch, because I don't want to commit to red yet based on this pack. I'm just taking the Aspirant, and now I have a very nice amount of, early white drops here. I don't have to worry about my, mana curve too much because of these 2 drops. I'm already in a good shape. And here, there is an actual decision between 3 cards. There's a minus Guidewing. You could just take it. I would take it over the Gem Guardian, whatever white cards there can be. Well, these 3 actually. But there's also Deadweight. If I want to have some actual interaction, which I don't have yet, works with the potential deck that has the Bartolome. There's also the Restless Anchorage, which would be nice if I am gonna go to blue here, but I don't see a lot of blue, but I did not see a lot of black either. So I think I'm just gonna stick to white here now. There's definitely, I mean, Guidewing is a good card, especially if you have an Aspirant that can give it an extra counter. So that is a reasonable pick there. I don't have to, you know, decide on my second color quite yet. Now this pack is a pretty weak one. I think the question is just whether I should take something like a Fungal Fortitude, which would be, you know, a playable card in a Bartolome including deck, or maybe just take the Ancestors 8, which I consider as a better card than the Fortitude. I have nothing red in here, but if I have a red-white deck again, this is not a bad card. I guess I'll take the Ancestors 8. I don't care about the Fortitude that much. Alright, well now a pretty easy Brackish Blunder. Let's try to make the Master's Guide Mural work, because this pack has not that many, you know, cards worth considering. So let's take the blue card here, and now I seem to get a decision between the Warscribe, the Wondercliff. And that's pretty much it. I guess Captivating Cave could be considered. I like the Warscribe here. I have some early drops in here which can benefit from the mass pump effect. So let's take this over the red 2 drops here. And Hidden Courtyard versus Pirate Hat. I guess I'll take the Courtyard because it's almost assuredly now gonna be, you know, 100% likelihood that I will be playing white, so this is a nice land to have in the white deck. And here I think if I knew I'm gonna be red-white, I would take the Dino Automaton, but since I don't know about that, I'll just take the white 3-drop. I think the 3-mana 3/3 with a little bit of a utility in a case when you are flooding out a little bit, it's fine. And I got the Glorifier over stuff that I don't care about, so I have only one black card, and I don't know if this is good in the any other color combination than white and black, but it's still an easy pick because there's not much else going on. Alright, Might of the Ancestors. Now this actually could be a mono white deck, but that would require me to not get anything good from other colors, so it's quite unlikely to happen. Okay, the Ancient One. Well, that's not gonna go into my white deck. Well, there's one white card, one colorless card here. I guess 2, because of course the Hidden Nursery is also colorless, but of course this is not really a card you care about in having in any other deck than ones that care about adding green mana. Alright, so of course I'm not taking the white card or the Vandercliff, they are not really that good, but the question is, what am I gonna take here? I have no idea. I mean, I kind of want to play a Master's Guide Mural deck because I don't have a lot of, I haven't played a lot of them, but I also have a lot of aggression and now the Warscribe, so maybe the 7-mana craft is not what I'm gonna try to do. So Brackish Plunder, River Herald thing, Plundering Pirate, 40 gems there. I take the Pirate here. I like the green Dino, of course, too, but I don't think I want to take my first green card at this point in the draft, and of course there would now be a good green-white land here. But there's also Spyglass Siren. Now I didn't take either of those blue cards, but the Spyglass Siren is really good. But what is also good is the Altec Cloud Guard. I don't even have any force, and it works very well with the Warscribe, you know. Getting multiple creatures out of one card is great when you have this pump effect available. Should I try doing something weird and play like a mono-white deck, maybe splashing for something? I don't have much blue going on, so this would require playing at least 9 blue sources. I mean, at least 8, but ideally 9 or more. I'm actually gonna try to do something weird and maybe pick only white cards until there's like no real reason to do it otherwise. Alright, and then I'm getting this pack, which... Well, I'm not going to take a white card here. There are good options though. Water Wind Scout and the Diamond Pickaxe are both quite good. I have 2 white cards, 2 red cards, but the 1 white card is not that great. I mean, sorry, 2 blue cards, 2 red cards, and the 1 blue card isn't. I mean, it's 7 mana crafting. I don't want to play a 5 mana 4/4. I need to be able to craft this and then benefit from the ability. I don't even have that many artifacts. Actually, I have a very low amount of them. So I don't really care about the mural. So I have basically 1 blue card only. But the Water Wind Scout is better than the pickaxe. But I have 2 red cards. I'm actually taking the pickaxe now, which may mean that I'm gonna play yet another, white-red deck. But it's also possible I can keep this deck as a mono-white deck. I'll take the Petrify here regardless of my colors. It's the best card for this deck right now. Oh, well, there's a belligerent Yearling, so I think that's a good enough reason to not be white. I mean mono-white, maybe splashing for something, but this is just such a good 2-drop. The other option for the mono-white deck would be the Quicksand Whirlpool, but I'm gonna take the better card here. And I guess this is gonna be yet another red and white deck. There's just not much of reason to consider any other options at this point anymore. I'll take the Dusk Rose Relic, very nice removal spell. You do have to of course sacrifice something for it, but usually it's worth tempo to sack something. And there's a chance to get to sack just a treasure token or something like that. Here the Archaeologist isn't gonna be that good because I have very few artifacts. I don't want to play a 5 mana 4/4 that just scries for a bunch. I suppose I can take the River Herald Scout. I could take the Boulder, but I really don't think so. I'll take the Scout just in case I still end up being blue. Well, I won't be ending up blue because there's no belligerent Yearling number 2. I wouldn't mind a Toad here, maybe. I have only 1 mass pump effect, but I have also at least 1 equipment for now that would, be usable with the 1/1s to make them slightly more threatening. But of course the second Yearling is a very easy pick, and now there's nothing I'm gonna play here. I suppose I'll take the Vandercliff. It's a 4-drop. Nah, I'm gonna take an uncommon. I'm not gonna play the Vandercliff. I have enough playables, and there's 1 more pack left still. Tectonic Hazard or the Hotfoot Gnome. I really don't like the Gnome that much. I like the Hazard as a sideboard card more. The 3/1, yeah, I just don't think it's a very good card. Yeah, I'll take the uncommon here. I guess you can sideboard this in when the opponent is playing something graveyard based. You can maybe sideboard this in if your mana is good. Okay, I have 1 Daring Discovery. I don't have a lot of artifacts to craft with, but I'm still taking the Landmark because I'm not gonna play 2 of these discoveries, even in a post-board situation. I think actually 20 gems now. I don't think I want to play a 6 mana spell in this deck. This is gonna be more aggressive. I wouldn't mind having some, more, maybe 3 drops, couple of good 4 drops, pump spells, removal. And I think the deck would be finished at that point. Oh, I kind of get what I wanted, but what is the pick here? Again with the Brash's Tunnel Grinder. I don't think this deck is that good at getting the discover triggers, and this is very slow if you don't reliably get this flipped in like a couple of turns after playing it. So I don't actually plan on taking that card. The Sawblades is good, but so is like the Cloud Guard and the Dawn Runner. I think I actually prefer the Cloud Guard in this case even. I have the War Scribe, and this is a evasive 4-drop that gives me a friend. I could take the Dawn Runner too, but now that was my pick. Alright. Yet another belligerent Yearling. There's also a minus Guidewing, but I actually think I just want to have this 2-drop here. Yeah. 2 mana 3/2 trample. That's just very sweet. Now I wouldn't say that it's a mistake to take the guide wing, but here I just want to have another one of these guys. It has a bigger impact on the battlefield. I can take the removal spell here. Yeah, easy peek. And I think the deck starts to be in a pretty good shape now. And here I will take the Natalis Favor. Making this like into a 4-3 basically can mean that, well, it means that the opponent's 2 power creatures suddenly don't trade with it anymore, and you can push a lot of damage with it. I think the Strider is good too, but here I'll take the Favor now. I have also a high amount of quality hits this can make. I mean, any 3 mana card is usually good for this, and then I have a lot of good 2 mana cards to hit as well. This pack has nothing for me. I'm not gonna play a Brazen Blade Master. I have nowhere near enough artifacts to make that good. So I guess, could I play these like a, you know, splash that? I don't really want to. I'll take the Family Reunion, which I don't know if I'm gonna play, but I guess as some kind of a sideboard card. And now I'm gonna take the Idol or second copy of an Ancestor's Aid. I don't have a lot of creatures, so maybe taking another pump spell is not so great, but I also like it a lot with the Yearling. Making this into a 5 power trampler and first strike allows me to push for so much more damage. I'm actually gonna take that. It is so good with triple Yearling. It has to be the pick here, and I will do that right now. Okay, Dino Tomaton. This was actually the 4-drop I wanted to have. Another good chill here, but I'm not gonna splash for that. Okay, this is a very good pick here. I suppose I'll take the Rock Slide too, and this is now what, 14 creatures, but I think I have some cards here. Okay, well, I got the Dawnrunner back, but there's also Sunshot Militia. I feel like I'm taking the Dawnrunner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-drops, 1 drop. Okay, I guess I could take a 2-drop here still, but I think I like the Dawnrunner more. Let's take that. Okay, I got the Guidewing back. That's actually insane. Very nice, very nice. And here I can just take something because I won't be playing any of those. There's another 2-drop if I really want to play the 7th one. I guess that's an option I have. And this is the draft, I guess. One more card. Well, I tried not to have another red and white deck, but white was just wide open, so I had to be white in this draft. And I guess I could have moved to blue-white with a little bit different choices, but I think the blue dried up in the end. Although pack 3 might look a little bit different if I started picking those blue cards in pack 2, and blue might have been open in pack 3 more than it was now, but I'm fairly happy with the red-white combination here. Now I have to make some cuts, and I think there are some easy ones. I don't think the Glorifier of Suffering, I mean, it can eat an artifact or a creature, so this, I mean, you could eat a Guidewing, it's usually like fine-ish. We can of course eat the treasure token out of this Pirate or the Ancestor's Age or the Pickaxe, but I still don't think it's that great. Now I don't want to cut too many creatures, but I will cut the Glorifier here. And I think this deck is one of those decks that should play the Might of the Ancestors. Just getting this into a 5 power trample and vigilance, even if it trades, you know, it's +2 damage, I can trample over. And of course it's great with the Guidewings too. So I'm gonna play the Might of the Ancestors, and I'm gonna play the other 3-drops too. I think I will play double Rock Slide because I have like these 5 4-mana cards and 1 5-mana card. Everything else is cheaper, and I have a bunch of ways to make treasures. So, you know, even if I'm stuck at 3 lands for a while, I can still maybe cast 1 or 2 of these 4-mana cards. And this is the kind of card you want to be casting very late in the game anyway. So the other common landmark is probably going to be cut because I have 5 artifact cards in the deck. And yes, I do have a few ways to make an artifact token. For instance, these do make an artifact token, so crafting this won't be impossible, but it just feels like unnecessary. I need to make some cuts, and this is an easy next cut to make. And I think, because I will be cutting one more card, it is going to be 1000 Moons Crackshot. Just based on the fact that I like the other cards more. I have 15 creatures, 9 non-creatures, and there's not maybe. Well, there are a few easy sacrifices for this. For example, this Altec Cloud card gives me those 1/1s kind of, well, not exactly for free because I wouldn't pay 4 mana for just a 3/2 flyer, but the combination of these Duskro's Reliquary, you can think it like this. Would you use 5 mana and 2 cards to, well, it will be a 2 for 2 because that would give you a 3/2 flying creature, and it would also exile the opponent's nastiest artifact or creature. That is worth 5 mana and 2 cards. So that's gonna be giving easy fodder for the reliquary. Of course, all these treasure tokens can be easy fodder for these things, and the guide wings, you don't necessarily mind sacrificing a 1-drop thing that gives you an explorer trigger to get to cast this and get rid of something very nasty that the opponent has. Yeah, this deck seems like a pretty good one actually, and the Ethali's Favor has a bunch of good hits. I mean, anything that costs 3, I'm happy to hit. And out of these 1-drops, actually all of these are nice cards to have even later in the game. And out of these 2-drops, I guess like maybe the Attentive Sunscribe is the least impactful, but even that's a reasonable thing to get. And also, yeah, the Ancestors' Age aren't the best. You actually want to be able to hit stuff with your Discover triggers that you can actually cast. Now, you don't always want to cast a combat trick out of this sorcery speed trigger, but and of course if you have this in your hand, the opponents will know about it. So I guess the Ancestors' Age, which I have 2 of in this deck, are the worst hits, but as you can see, I have what, total of 4, 10, 15, 16, that's like 19 hits. So if 2 out of those 19 are less than ideally, that's a very low chance to hit those all the time. Alright, 24 spells, 16 lands is gonna be the easy number to run here. I have most of my spells castable at 3 mana. Even at 2 mana I can cast a lot of stuff, and I have those treasure tokens that I can make, so easy decision there about that. And I'm gonna just have an even white and red spread here. Yep, because almost even number of those cards, and I have early drops for both white and red, so that's that. So 3rd red-white deck in a row. Let's see if this is also going to be a deck with a very good result. That's the main deck. Well, on the play, this can backfire, but how can I mulligan this hand that is on the play and can play belligerent Yearlings on turns 2 and 3? So I'm gonna keep this, but I do need to plains at some point just to be able to cast my white spells, because my deck has, of course, what, 13 white spells, and I might be able to, I might be drawing those white spells a lot here. So let's see if I can actually avoid that. Alright, well, that was perfect. Now any land will be great, and if I draw spells, I can most likely cast them. I have, of course, a few 4 and 5 mana spells. Well, actually, I have the 1 5 mana card here already. Alright, Petrify. Oh, that's actually kind of a shame, but it's my only play this turn, so I'm gonna actually just push for damage. I have the Rumbling Rock Slide for the next one. I should deal 6 here because I hopefully get just the land, or I keep drawing castable spells. I have what, a few 4 mana cards left in the deck I wouldn't be able to cast, but all the other ones I can cast. And now I will be playing the Kellan here, I think. I don't mind trading with the Cloud card, and they probably have to make the block, and they still have to, suffer some trample damage from that. Of course, a Dino Automaton here would have been amazing, making both of these tramples into 4 power creatures. That would have been just what 2 additional damage there, and also have this 4/3 menace guy here. That would be nice, but I think as long as I can at some point draw the 4th land, I'll be in a pretty good shape because all these cards are great. And of course, if I get another plains at some point, well, I mean, I need the 4th land. I need 5 lands total with at least one of the extra lands being a plains, and this can also help me push through. Okay, so they can easily just I mean, they should sacrifice the Cartographer's Companion there, yes, making to a 4/3 and a 2/2 here. And then they can equip the hammer, or even okay, they can even use the map token. Oh, they chose to not do any of that. Well, I'm not attacking with the Kellan. I guess they have a trick, but so be it. I kept a 2-lander, and in 5, I fairly quickly found a 3rd land, of course. So I haven't had any I haven't missed any plays here, but of course, had I drawn the 4th land at some point prior to this turn, I would have been in a slightly better shape. But then again, we are trading resources in here, and I still have 4 relevant resources left. So it's actually fine too, because it's not like they can suddenly start raising here. Upgrade the Kellan, sure. They can equip this guy to make it into a 5/4, but if I draw a 4th land, I can cast this and also deal 4 to this thing. Petrify on my envoy, sure. I mean, now there's a slight chance they can actually raise me, but if I get the untapped land, I have 1 tapped land in the deck. But yeah, this is now very good because I can just do this, and of course this is a 2-turn clock. And well, I can just cast relevant spells here going forward. I will take 5 if they choose to attack. Okay, well, I will take 6 if they choose to attack, because they use the map token, they milled an Iron Power Aspirant. And well, the thing is that if I go to 10 now, if I take it, yeah, I guess I should be playing it safe. I will prevent 6 damage now, because looking at my hand, I will win here if I just, you know, get to play my spells here. So now, for instance, they of course have to deal with this guy. It's just gonna be lethal attacker. If I let them untap, they can tap one of my blockers with this thing, but now that I'm at 16, these have 8 power total. I should play the Warscribe now. I'm gonna play the Warscribe. The damage actually doesn't matter now. But the thing is that that's the optimal use of mana. And now if they have some random life gain, they need it now. I guess a Tinker's Toad still would give them +3 life, and of course that would help them a little bit, but well, definitely the Rock Slide was not a good play on the previous turn. It was one of the creatures, and I felt like using my mana optimally there. Dino Automaton. This was unblockable regardless. This menace wouldn't have mattered, but of course this would have been another menace creature that they would need 2 blockers. Yeah, I don't think it matters too much, because I mean, if I play this now, I can still give this guy menace with the Dino Automaton, so it basically I would have had a menace creature on the next turn, regardless of me choosing to play the Warscribe or the Dino Automaton on this turn. Now this is a mirror, white and red. I saw pretty basic stuff from white and red there. I see no reason to use the Tectonic Hazard. No, it kills the companion, it kills the friend out of this guy, but I didn't see anything like a Tinker's Toad, so I'm not doing that. I saw an Aberrate, so the family reunion has the counterspell option on the removal, also a Petrify, and this deck actually I could see benefiting from the +1/+1 on all my creatures. But now the question is, what card I'm not gonna play if I'm choosing to put the family reunion in my deck. And I think something like a rumbling rockslide might not be the greatest against a white-red deck, although in here it would have dealt with a large creature. But I could see it maybe. Okay, let's try it, because I have basically, I don't recall if I have played this at all, but at least if I have, it's been not many times. I will try this card, because I think both modes will be useful in this matchup. So let's play one of those. Let's leave one rock slide still in the deck. Okay, Sunscribe, Petrify. I had a mountain in the previous game, but I got the plains early enough. If I can attack with this, I get to scry one. I suppose I'll keep this. I'm on the draw. I have the extra draw too, and if I draw any land, I can also go with the Might of the Ancestors. I don't actually even have anything red in my hand than the Dino Automaton. Okay, they have that thing early. Now that hurts a little bit that I can't do this on turn 2, but let's see now. I mean, this thing actually has to become tapped to get the scry, which is kind of funny for the Might of the Ancestors. I don't get the scry if I choose to play the Might here. Well, given that... okay. Given that they have another 2-3 there. I can attack into it and then cast this thing if they don't block. If they block, but if they don't block, what I'm gonna do? Play the Petrify in that case? I suppose I'll just Petrify in post combat in that case. Okay, that I'm happy about. But I'm happier it goes like this. And next turn I can even double spell Yearling and a Petrify if there's something worth petrifying. That thing might be. Oh, they actually choose to. Huh. They choose to do that. I can still use my Ancestor's Aid here. I'm gonna go for the Scry and use the Aid instead of playing the Yearling. I don't need another Plains here. Ah, this is fine. This is fine, and now I have a Treasure, so I can actually choose to even cast the Yearling instead of the Petrify. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the Race for now. They might have something even bigger for Petrify. And of course, if it seems like they deal with my ground guys and they just have this air attacker, then I will have to Petrify. So they go and enhance that guy. Okay, they get the Gem Guard, which they choose to keep on top. And I can do Petrify, Might of the Ancestors, or just the Dino Automaton. Now if I play this thing, this actually becomes a 4-power guy. They have this Adaptive Gem Guard. That means I'm actually going to Petrify that. I think it is more important. So if I play this on this turn, I'm not actually going to use the Petrify then. Well, let's do this. I'm gonna keep the Yearling trample of I mean, it has trample but menace, so they would have to double block if they want to trade. And yes, I will turn it into a 4-power creature, and I don't mind trading the Sunscribe. I will get the Scry anyway, so that's valuable. Guidewing, yeah, I think it's... So looking at my next turn, I'm gonna play Might and the Petrify. But the Guidewing gives me at least one jump block here, which could be relevant. And then it's good with the Might of the Ancestors as an attacker. So I will keep it. It's, I think, better than a random card, which even could be yet another land. Interesting, they chose to block with a 2-2 token instead of this 2-1. The Companion is actually less valuable than the 2-2. Unless they have a reason to prefer it the other way around. Well, anyway, if they want to pump this guy, they actually have to tap Yeah, if they attack and pump, that's bad. I guess they're not even gonna pump the gem guard, because I do assume they want to keep attacking in the air. Now, that doesn't change what I'm gonna do here. It might though. I mean, maybe I won't be doing the ancestors here right now. How to do it? Yeah, maybe at this point I don't care about the cloud guard. It's still a 4-turn clock and I have a much larger clock. I mean, larger, faster clock. So okay, this component will be trading with the belligerent Yearling. I get to trample a couple points. Yeah, I do think. Just gonna do this. And if I wanna petrify this, I should do it now, not to give them the option to. I mean, maybe I should give them the option to trade the gem guard with the other stuff. That's actually a good idea. So this will get, the guy will get vigilance. I'm gonna give here because it has trample, so I'm gonna benefit from the trample anyway. And if they wanna double block the Dino Automaton, I wouldn't mind. Okay, that's now 8 damage they're gonna get dealt. And I can... I'm very tempted to just play the Guidewing actually here after all. I might take 6 damage here though. That's kinda annoying, but I'm gonna still do the Guidewing now. If they have a removal, that will be bad, but even if they have one removal, it would have been bad for me because I could petrify only one of those guys. And I guess the gem guard's pump ability doesn't matter too much right now. But they can go for the double attack and I won't be making any kind of blocks here, and I am of course being threatened. Oh, bone. Well, that thing has to be petrified, and actually I win now. Because the aspirant is just what I need here. Wow. This is 7 damage with the might. It's 8 damage with this guy. Wow, 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 wow. I'm pretty happy now I didn't go for the petrify on the previous turn. They had this amazing bomb mythic, but this aspirant draw was also quite necessary. I guess I could have survived one trigger here, but I was going to... Well, yeah, I mean, let's say I just have the petrify and draw like a random 2-drop. They will go down to 1, and then I have to block the gem guard, but I would be able to block it with the aspirant or something. Maybe I could have survived one trigger here and still win on the next turn because I had multiple threats here. On the play again, but oh, this hand is not keepable. I mean, with the lands it's good, but this has no creatures to apply pressure with. I have to mull this. Yeah, this is much, much better. The question though is that what to keep. I'm gonna gamble a bit, but these are also good. I can miss my 3rd land drop once because I can go Yearling. And this gives me a, you know, the Explorer helps in casting, maybe getting the 4th land too. But I do need the 3rd land, of course. But hopefully I get there. Okay, well that's another 2-mana play, so I can at least use my mana on many of my turns. But let's see what kind of a blocker they have. Well, that is not a good blocker on this stuff, and even get the Ancestors 8, so even their next blocker might not do much. And now this is the power of these Yearlings. I mean, this is just incredibly, you know, large threats considering their mana value. You know, it's not just the fact they are 3/2s for 2, but they also have trample, which makes, you know, me deal extra damage to them. I don't actually mind them getting the counter here because I do have the Ancestors 8 here. That said, if I drew a land, which I didn't, I think if I drew a land I would have just gone for a trade and then play the Dawn Runner, but of course now it's very easy to just do the attack and benefit hopefully from this thing. If they don't have, there's a one mana white trick that they could have had, and that would have been annoying, because I think this would have had 6 toughness in that case, and this had only 5 power. But okay, this is all fine. And now I have the treasure here, so at least I can play a spell. Well, I do have a 2 mana spell here too. Alright, so how to do it? I still didn't draw the land out of 4 draw steps. I mean, it's tempting to just play the Dawn Runner here, actually. I'm gonna play the Dawn Runner. It will help me with finding the lands. So let's do it. I will mill anything that's not a land. I mean, of course, if it was a land, I would be able to just, you know, it would be drawn. Alright, so I'm gonna trade with the 1/1s here, not much to say about that. And they have the +3 life from the Tinker's Toad, but I have a double striker here now. That's actually pretty good a card in against this board they're having. Alright, so now they can go with double block on the Yearling using the Guide Wing and the 1/1. I don't mind if they block with the Altok Cloud Guard. They can triple block the Dawn Runner, but they would lose their entire board, so they are not gonna do that. Because of course I can play now the Aspirant and give the counter to someone. If they didn't have the easy jump block with the 1/1, I think I would make this into a 3/3, but it's already relevant in size enough now. But I'm just gonna actually do this and do the Guide Wing post combat. So they took the 4 damage from the double striker, make this thing potentially into a 4/3, but we'll see. No, it's not. It was land. So that makes it so that I think I can play the Guide Wing, because I can then use the Aspirant to give the Guide Wing the counter. Also, they are just at 3 life, but they do have +3 from the Tinker's Toad, but they have only access to 1 white mana right now. So if they have a white card, they would have to make a decision between life and the white card. Okay, glyph in there. Well, if I get my petrify, hey, I was supposed to have a petrify. So they're gonna go for the race, understandably, of course. Wow, I just don't seem to get the lands. These now 7 draws without drawing a land. Well, let's see what this does. I'm gonna get to Explorer now. Dusk Rose Reliquary. Well, that's gonna exile the Toad, but they will sadly have mana up for it. I of course have a perfect thing to, you know, you know, sacrifice for it. But then they just sack this for life and they get this. They will always get the, you know, the cliff will, discover will always happen, but they're also gonna get the 3 life from it. So maybe something like an Etalis Favor will just be better. I'm gonna mill this thing, and now this is in fact 8 top cards. None of them was a land. So let's hope to okay, they have a mountain too. Alright. Let's hope to draw the land, because Etalis Favor on the Aspirant, because the Discover can hit some pretty good stuff. Like, I mean, if I'm really lucky, maybe a Petrify. But let's see if they're gonna attack with the Tinker's Toad. Now that this is just a 2/2, they might need to leave this as a blocker. And I still don't draw the land. 9 cards drawn. I had 34 cards because I mulliganed. I have drawn 9 cards. Okay. Well, I guess that's it then. I needed to play a spell on this turn. I mean, even if it's not a land, I would have needed to draw a 2-mana card or a 1-mana card. But this starts to be a little bit of a joke of a game now because I mean, I know I put one land out of from the starting hand away, but they're gonna have a 2-turn clock now. I guess if they attack with the scout as well, it's a little bit. No, they have the +3 life there all the time. Yeah, well, let's see what my next draw is gonna be. I don't think I can anyway. After missing the play on the previous turn, this is gonna be incredibly difficult now. I can make this into a 3-4, and the Italy's favor needs to hit in something pretty good. But I think this was really tough now. Okay, Yearling is definitely good. It has Trample. I might get the +2/+0 and first strike. I still have one of them left. And they have to block this, and it has Trample. They can't even trade with it. They're just gonna... Yeah, they go for that. So now I have to jump block the Tinker's Toad. Because they can attack with the Scout, of course, as well. Oh, Master's Guide Mural. Now I do have the Dino Automaton here. But I have to block with the Yearling. Yeah, the problem here is that they have the +3. Well, actually they milled this. Yeah, I mean they didn't have the plus. Well, let's see if they're gonna what they have a Quinterus card. Well, that explains the mountain. All right. If they didn't have the +3 up, I would like my chances a lot. They go for that, so they don't have the +3 up. But if they attack, oh, if I now draw a land, I will win. Ooh, and it has to be the untapped land. I have one cave in my hand. Deck that winters tapped. This will get menace and I will win. Okay, well, very easy. Come on, land number 2, please. Thank you. That was... And they needed to do the risky attack there. That said, if they did not attack with both, I wouldn't have needed to, you know... In that case, I wouldn't have needed to jump block. I could have taken the Toad here. But I think what they should have done here is maybe to just make sure they have the +3 life gain up rather than tap out. But yeah, that was tough one. Okay, they have a Quinterus Kant, but there's not much I can do against that card other than, you know, just have a board presence to attack with. Now, maybe a Daring Discovery would be nice here because of that. I can make all their blockers unable to block, and then I can pick this guy off and do some other damage. But I will be on the draw again, also against this fairly aggressive deck. So can I afford to play this purely aggressive card? Now the Tectonic Hazard does have a couple of Guide Wings and the Tinker's Toad, and of course the friend the Cloud Guard gives. But then again, I also... This doesn't hurt Planeswalkers, does it? No, only the opponent and the creatures. Is there something bad? Like the Rock Slide again? Might not be the best 4-mana spell to deal with something that's usually gonna cost less than 4. Not a great trade. So I'm gonna cut one Rock Slide, and let's actually try the Daring Discovery. It's also a card I haven't used a lot in this format, and there's not gonna be that many LCR drafts left. So let's use these, you know, cards that just to give them a chance to shine. And I think otherwise I will keep the deck as is. Okay, I'll keep it. At least I have my land and I have a 3-drop, but I would really prefer to have one of my early drops. But I can still draw it. A couple of draw steps to find an early drop. And they start with the Guide Wing. Okay, they start with the Flyers. Only one power each, of course. Now I draw the lands. That's classic. Okay, they go with full air force, 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. And they can now use the map token with the Siren mana. Well, I guess there's always a game 3. But I mean, I still want the... I won the previous game, even though it became a very tough situation. But now my first 3 draw steps, land, land, land. In the previous game, my first 9 cards on the top of the deck were all non-lands. So, of course, they played 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop flyers on the play. When my first play is at 3-2 on turn 3. I mean, of course, I will just play the Cloud Guard this turn. There's no reason to consider anything else, so let's do that. And I mean, they would have to have a very bad hand not to win here. But it's possible they have a very bad hand. That's not the most, impressive thing for them to play here. But of course, my Daring Discovery is quite unlikely to do anything good. Right. Okay. I just draw lands here. Alright, alright. Well, I guess I'll just try this now and see what I get from the discover a 3 drop at least. But it's too much damage they have in the air. It's 5 damage in the air. So I just have no way to outrace them. 3 of their guys even have vigilance. So now don't runner. I can go with, I don't know, maybe I was supposed to, no, I wasn't supposed to do any daring discoveries here, but I'm supposed to do this and Kellan. Yeah, it's not going to help me win, so I'm not gonna do that. Sadly, I don't even have mana for the 1 extra token, but it won't matter. I have, of course, only 8 damage here, even if none of their creatures was able to block, and thanks to all the vigilance they have, they will be able to block even in this case. And that's not gonna help. I mean, this is gonna give me a Discover 4 spell, but I don't think there's anything in my deck. And I'm gonna keep this in the deck, so I don't want to show it to them. Let's go to the final game. They had, of course, a Dream Start in here. They actually had a 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop, all flyers. And now I'm even more, interested in having the Rumbling Rockslide, because yes, it's a removal that kills basically all of their creatures, but it's also a 4-mana removal spell that always is gonna hit, or almost always is gonna hit something that costs less than 4, and that's bad for your tempo. And now I'm just thinking about the Tectonic Hazard, multiple Guide Wings. They have this 1/1s coming up Toad. And of course you can use a Tectonic Hazard to sometimes finish off some things, but it's a little bit of a hit or miss. Is there anything else? Like, I guess there is something like the Thousand Moons Crackshot. There's the Landmark, which would be a good blocker. I just don't have a lot of artifacts to craft with. I guess on the play I'll just play the 2/2 here. The 2/2 is not the greatest against the 2/3s that they might have here. But then again, I will have ways to enhance my 2/2s. So I'm gonna play just the creature here. Try to curve out like they did in the previous game. Not gonna bother with the Tectonic Hazard. And have a couple of these kind of surprise damage effects here at 5 mana. And let's go. Okay, that is gonna be good enough. I hope they don't have a Petrify for my Kellan, but I'm gonna have a turn 2 Kellan with options to either just neutralize their 2-drop or make this into a 3-4 if they have a good blocker for it. Basically, a good blocker would mean something that has 3 toughness. They could have the River Herald Scout exploring into a non-land. But in that case I can use the Aspirant. And also I drew the land, which was important. I didn't want to get stuck at 2, but now I can have a nice curve out. Let's see if there's the Petrify. There is no... Oh, there's just a Buried Treasure. I guess this is a splash for the Quinterius, but I'm really happy that they have just that. Okay, do I get a creature here? I don't need a 5th land, so put it in your graveyard, yes. So that was still valuable, even though I didn't get to draw a card. Okay, are they gonna have something? They have 4 mana available thanks to the Buried Treasure. And I will be able to put some pressure on the battlefield. Okay, Petrify is the perfect thing here. The perfect answer is the Petrify. Oh, they do have the hammer, but it takes some time for them to get to use it. Because it's 1 to equip and 3 to use, and the creature must also not have summoning sickness. So let's do this. And then let's just see what I draw. I think I'll just make a 2-3 Aspirant. If I don't draw anything, I will cast. Okay, I got a Sunscribe, so let's play that instead. Petrify on there, sure. They can equip it, but it actually is so that the equipment gives... come on, where is it? The creature has the activated ability, and the Petrify says that the activated abilities cannot be activated, so it's very good for me. And now I'm going to just play a couple of things. Let's make the Sunscribe into a 3-3 Scry, play the Belligerent Yearling, and the next turn I can make the Dino Automaton, which will be also making the Yearling into 4-power creature. So of course this was a very different game from the opponent's side than the previous game. Of course from my side too, but the opponent doesn't even have access to blue mana right now. So they're gonna move the equipment on the Guide Wing. And that's enough for them. Well, I literally just had despite, I mean, even without the Dino Automaton, they can block a 3-power creature and still take 7, which is all the life they have. So if they had no castables, that was it. Okay, first time on the draw, but also very nice hand. I have the 3 lands, both colors, 2-3, maybe 4. Mana curve. Okay, Sons of Militia, sure. It's good blocker on the Kellan, of course, but then again I do have the Ancestors' Aid, so if they are, well, I'm not gonna use it if they are not gonna tap out. Okay, only mountains so far. Actually I can just attack with this and still benefit from the attack trigger, so if they, don't actually play anything, I can still have a good attack in here. So let's do this. I'm not gonna use the Ancestors' Aid. They might have their own, of course. But I already got the card out of this Kellan, and I have options here. I can take a Yearling and the Guide Wing. But let's see what they do. I can also just play the Pirate. Right, so no nothing. I like to play my white spell now that I have only 1 white mana available. So let's do this and the Yearling. Also the 3-2 is gonna be good enough here. Now they have something for 3. They didn't even equip the Torch. So I believe they have something for 3. Yes, they do. They can kill the Yearling for that. That is acceptable. It's actually interesting because they could have blocked the Kellan and then used the idol on the Traveler. I wonder why they did not go for that. But this is fine. Okay, the Kabarok Sunbone is of course a big problem. And I might lose to that one card. It's just how good it is. Well, at least I can attack into it because I have the Ancestor Shade. I really don't think they are gonna block here. I don't need a mountain. Maybe I would take a plains, but a mountain, I will mill that. But yeah, they are not gonna block with the Sunbone. It's too good of a card to risk it. Well, I can have a... I mean, I guess I'll just have to take it. Let them discover. There's nothing really else. I know there are ways like have the Sun Scribe and then you know have the Ancestor's Aid, but there's also the fact that they have a torch which will kill something that has only 2 toughness. But that I guess is also a reason to not you know play just the Cloud card. But I'm gonna just play the 3-2 and a 2-2 here. I might get a win with the War Scribe still, but of course they can now just attack with the Sunbone and maybe even do some equipping beforehand. Well, I have won with this card many a game, so it's normal to also lose some games to it. So they're gonna kill the Pirate, I believe now, denying me any double blocks. I don't think I would have wanted to double block because it's too risky when they have open mana and cards in hand, but they now make the decision for me. Oh, they actually stacked the triggers wrong. They could have actually tapped the... Okay, they get to kill my Kellan there, but they could have tapped the you know the Sunfight Torch and then have the sacrifice trigger. So I guess they had like an auto stack triggers and the game stacked it in a wrong order. Well, for that it means they don't have an untapped Sunset Militia. It might not even be a big deal. The fact they got the Kellan killed is not great, because if they would have just, you know, discovered into a creature, the Kellan attack could have netted me another card, and I still have the Ancestor's Aid to make any blocks bad. Okay, Deadmoss Iron killing the Sunscrap, that's aggressive, but understandable too. I mean, it's actually a good 1-for-1 for them in there now, and I did draw the War Scribe mana there, but well, not much to do. I'm just gonna play the Cloud card and hopefully I will... Well, I have 3+5 in the air on the next turn. It's not enough, of course. I mean, they're gonna go down to 6. Strider, yeah, the Kabarok the Sunbone, that can be a really nasty one. If I get a Petrify, there's the Strider, and this has Trample too, so they can pump this like twice and it's gonna be a 7-power Trample. I really don't... Yeah, I think I will have to just jump block with the 1-1 now. But let's see how the Discover does things now. Another Torch. Well, it's annoying, but... because that means they can kill the Cloud Guard very soon. Guess I'll just have to prevent the damage. I'm not going to be able to attack with the Sunscrap now that they have a with the 1-1 token, even if it's enhanced thanks to the 5 toughness thing they have. Yeah, so what I could do now is, because I drew a land, I could actually Ancestor's Aid and then the War Scribe thanks to the Treasure, but that's still gonna be only 8 damage. I mean 10 damage. 8 plus 2. And next turn I will be in big trouble. Well, I think I'll just need to do this regardless. I'm just not gonna use the 8 on this turn. But they have way too much life. Is there a... No, even if I get the enchantment that gives +2/+01 vigilance, even that's not gonna be enough. They can do yeah. This game was won by the Sun. I mean, they had a good start anyway, but the free discoveries out of this is of course huge. Now the previous discovery was just the torch, but it does mean that the Cloud Guard is no longer lethal. Imagine if they didn't get a torch and have no way to win. Well, forget about that. But I would have actually had 6 damage in the air thanks to the Ancestor's Aid. But not that won't matter anymore at all. They're gonna make it 1, 2, 3. It's gonna trample a lot of damage over. They can make it into 10 power trample. They can make it into 12 power trample. But of course it's better for them to. Okay, that's bye-bye Cloud Guard. I'm facing 11 damage. What's the discover gonna give? A 2-2. It's kind of a shame because again I don't have to block this thing. If they didn't have a creature, oh no, they have a Tinker's Mana up. I was thinking about getting the menace trigger, and then Ancestor's Aid. This would be menace 6 power, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they have the 3 life there. I'm not gonna win on the next turn, and then I'm definitely gonna lose on the turn after that. But yes, Kabarok the Sunborn and the Gold Fury Starter both mean that I will be playing the Rock Slides in this game. So again, the matchups are very, very, there's like a no green, or was there a green? I mean, it's mostly just Jeskai colors. That's how this format seems to work. Yeah, I don't like the Dreadmoss Ire. It's quite good against me. Maybe I have. Yeah, well, I'm not going to sideboard out my artifacts just because of that one thing. Tectonic Hazard. Well, I don't think there's enough. Just a Tinker's Toad, not gonna be enough of a reason to play the Hazard. I'll just have to probably use the same deck and hope they don't get a Kabarok the Sunbone. Or if they do, I have a removal for it. Yeah, not having a 1 or 2 drop is annoying, although there's a chance to draw 1 still. At least I have the treasure which I can use for the Duskrow's Reliquary. No 2 drops. So let's see what kind of a start are they gonna have. Hasty one. Okay, well, that's really annoying. I'm getting the Plundering Pirate. Well, let's just do it. They're gonna use the torch on that type pirate, but so be it. This wasn't the best start from me. I have the answer for the Kabarok the Sunbone now, but I'm actually not even gonna worry about that. I mean, I have other things to worry about rather. Alright, well there's that at least, so I can do this and I can do this, and then yeah, I'm not gonna use the Reliquary quite yet. I'll just... Oh, they have another Torch. Torch is really good against my deck, of course. And they have multiples, and they have the Idol of the Deep King too, for another 2 power... 2 damage effect to my 2 toughness creatures. Well, there's no good block here. Yeah, this was just yeah, my curve was like okay-ish. Not great, but okay-ish, and it's not gonna really... Oh, I'm gonna actually have to burn my treasure. I mean... I was wanting to play this now because that at least allows me to do something, but if I burn my treasure, there's no good sacrifice for the reliquary here. I could just like kill this thing with the rock slide, but that seems incredibly bad, but I guess I'm doing that. Yeah, I think I needed to draw something different, but they had those torches for my things and I didn't have a fast start here, starting on turn 3 with the place. Okay, there is a forest from this deck now. Wonder what they are splashing for. Nothing good for me, I'm sure. And this annoying 2/2 haster is gonna deal a lot of damage here now. Because I don't get to really... Well, at least now I get something. And I mean, I didn't really get to have a blocker for it until now. Of course, they might still deal with the Dino Automaton as well. Yeah, they just have removal on the few creatures I managed to draw here, and enough pressure here that... Yeah, there's not much to do here. Pickaxe is going to help me like a very little bit here. I might actually need to go for the reliquary. Just eating a Tomb Raider now. That is what I'm gonna have to do. And maybe they run out of answers. If they still kill the Guidewing, I mean, then that just means they had a very much better draw than I did, and that's that. There's not much I could have done differently in this game. Okay, Cloud card is not an answer. And on the other hand, I need to draw some creatures. But I failed to do that. Trick there. No tricks. Wow. That's a lot of mountains. I suppose I'm holding the fort unless they have a removal. They do not, but... The fact is, this thing has no vigilance, so I can't actually attack. Because I won't be taking... I'm not gonna take 3 damage going to 2 when they have the 1/1s. So let's draw some creatures, shall we? Wow. Alright. Alright then. My chances are very slim now. I need to hit like a multiple back-to-back non-land top decks, but I guess I'll lose now because they make this attack. Idol of the Deep King would finish me off now. Well, I mean, drawing all these lands finished me off. Wow. I know I could have just played the Hidden Courtyard and then they suddenly don't attack with the tokens, but why wouldn't they attack with the tokens? That was kind of a joke of a game. Alright, well, the deck was good, and the last match I just didn't really... I wasn't able to match the opponent's plays. Of course, in the first game I just lost to the Sunbone, which I didn't get my answers. I had a Duskroast Reliquary, Petrify, a couple of Rock Slides, so I had plenty of answers I could have drawn for it, but I did not. And the next game was just me flooding out. And that's that. But 2 wins is a fine result. You can't always get 3 matches where you don't have some kind of a RNG issues. It's pretty normal. So let's be happy with the 2 match wins and I'll claim the prize. And I think my next draft video might be a cube draft, or then the next one after that. I'm not sure because I'm recording this beforehand and I'm not exactly sure what's gonna be the planned release date for this for this video, but there will be some cube drafts maybe on the channel too, so that it's not only LCI until the next set. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.